Sam, we're talking to you ahead of the FA Cup tie at Swindon, but quickly let's look back to Saturday. You were killed really by that red card, weren't you?
Yeah, we think so. When you watch the game back, to be honest with you, I've watched the whole game back, but I'm focused on the first 25 minutes really, because there's a lot of really positive things that we did, and that was what we wanted to see from obviously what happened in the Spennymoor game. We played really well up until the sending off, and it's, for being totally honest, it's absolutely killed us, you know. But it doesn't change away from the fact that, as I spoke to you after the game, and I was angry after the game because the wonder strike from outside the box, as I said, sometimes okay, fair enough, but the other 3 goals were through, they were all preventable in terms of defensive errors.
You had to go at your defence as well in your post-match interview. What have you been able to say to those same defenders and the whole of your squad this week?
Well, like I say, there's a lot of positive things, and even what I was pleased about, even though we obviously lost the game 4-1, was the attitude of the players that were still on the pitch when we were down to 10 men. If I use the 3 midfield players as an example, I thought they were excellent in terms of attitude, in terms of that determination, because they're getting outnumbered, you know, and running around. I said after the game about Adriano when he's running into the far corner to chase a ball that's going out of play. He's run from our corner to go and do that. And them type of things is what you need when you've had a bad result or you've had a little bad run. It's them type of things that get you going again. Because myself as a player, if I used to play with someone and my teammates did that type of thing, or I did that type of thing, that's an inspirational thing that you need. And these are the things that get you going again. It won't be a pass, and it won't be a shot or anything like that. It's that, and things like that that gets when he's running back into his position, the crowd are clapping him. You know, and it's all these type of things, and that's where I see it. That's the type of team that I want, in terms of lads who want to fight and scrap, who can handle a football and play, but they have to have that attitude and that energy and that enthusiasm, and not just on Saturday. I want to see that every day. I want them to come in here and be exactly the same, and because that's what good teams do.
How do you ensure you get that out of them more often than not, rather than just once every 3 or 4 games?
You just got to keep banging the drum, you know, keep saying it every day, keep working with them every day. To be honest, sometimes it's quite difficult to criticise them in training because we do get that, but as we all know, the be all and end all is what actually happens on a Saturday. I played with a lot of players in my career, Monday to Friday. They were terrible trainers, you know, they just used to see it pass time by to be ready for a Saturday. So there's all different, players are different, you know, but we still keep doing the same things. We keep trying to work with everyone and make them improve. But as we all know, the key thing is what happens on a Saturday, and I want to see a team that had that attitude and that mentality. Midfield players, Jordan Burrow, spoke about him. Even Big John was having a go for us as well. You know, we need leaders, we need people to stand up, people that can handle the crowd when things are not going well for you. Because I've said all along, I understand that, but I want to have a team that has that mentality and that determination to go, I can deal with this, it don't bother me, I want to just go out there and give everything I've got.
Do you feel as though you've got a number of players at the minute who struggle to deal with some of that pressure at times?
Yeah, at times, yeah, and that's my job, to either make them better, to even make them mentally tougher to deal with that. And if it keeps going on and we keep having that same reoccurring thing, then I have to find players that will go and do that, because I want a team that represents me, and not just myself, Stuart and Ian as well. We're not here to bloody be mid-table in the Conference North. No way. I'll pack my bag up now and go home. That's not what I want. I want to put a team together that everyone comes on a Saturday and a Tuesday and enjoys watching, because win, lose or draw, they're giving it absolutely everything that they've got.
And with that in mind, do you think this weekend provides your team with an opportunity to forget about the pressures? They're massive underdogs. Yeah. Swindon this week are going to be playing like York City do on a regular basis at Bootham Crescent, where York City are expected to win. They're expected to turn over these teams. Yeah. This week, Swindon are in that position.
Yeah, they are, yeah, which is it's a good type of pressure for us, because obviously we've had this little bad run that we've had, and we probably didn't see it coming. You know, the week leading up to the Telford game, that was the best week we'd had training-wise. And thinking back now, sometimes you're kind of thinking, well, I'd rather we have a couple of poor days in the week, because we were going into that game on the Saturday, and to be honest, we saw it in the first half. We thought, we look a decent team today, and then we just lost as well. But like the 4 away games that we had, the 2 games we played poorly and won both. The 2 games where we won, we actually played better than what we'd done in the 2 previous ones. So it's just fine lines all the time. But the key thing for me is we have to make sure that we're hard to beat, and we don't give cheap goals away, because at any level of football that kills you. And these are the things that we've got to do on Saturday. You know, better quality players, technically better. It's going to be a hard game. There's got 2 or 3 in there that have played at a higher level, big stadium. Some of our lads have been in that, experienced that before in terms of over their careers. So, but from our point of view, there's no excuses. I don't care if I've got a team of lads who've never played at that level. We want to go there on Saturday and make sure we put a really good performance in, because it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but myself and Stuart have watched them 2 or 3 times, and we think that there's certain areas where we can exploit. They're under a little bit of pressure as well, so we have to use all them things to our advantage in terms of, first thing, solid, hard to beat, and use that energy that we'll have in the team on Saturday to go and cause them problems, because if we pick the right team and go with the team that we think, we've got a really fit and energetic team, so we have to use that.
Yeah, I think they've not won in their last 6 home games, yeah. 2 wins in the last 10 in the league.
Yeah.
You know Phil Brown, their manager, from your time altogether. How do you think he'll be dealing with the drop in maybe some of the footballs that he's used to working with in these last 10 years?
Yeah, obviously managing the Premier League at Hull. When I was with him at the time, they were in the Championship, and I learnt a lot. I think I said before, when I was watching him coach and things like that, he's a really, really good coach. And one thing I promise that he will be doing now all week, and probably for weeks and weeks on end, if they've had poor results, good results, he'll be working with the players every day to make them improve. And I know one of the things that he always spoke about to players was like the mental side of it. And this is a mentally tough game for them on Saturday, because they're expected to win. They're expected to do what we did to St Ives and Ashton, you know. But we would like to think that we can cause them problems. We've seen certain things where we think, if we play like we can, if we play like we did that first 25 minutes on Saturday until what happened, we can give them one hell of a game.
So what's the game plan for this? Because being big underdogs, teams generally think away from home, they put a lot of men behind the ball and maybe play on the counter, and if they can get a draw, they'll be quite happy bringing them back to Bootham Crescent.
Yeah, we understand that. You look at it and you think, well, ideally we'd like to get them back at home. But when I've watched it and watched them, and I know Phil Brown's style, and he's always played that same way, it's not one of them where you're thinking we can't really go and press them high because they'll play through you, because they've got 11 players that are really technically good, you know, so we have to drop off, try and protect it a little bit and play a little bit deeper. That could be something that we decide in the end we might want to go that way a little bit, because we know we've got a lot of good pace breaking from midfield, and the 2 wide lads who we potentially might think about using have got good legs, especially on one side. So we might set up a little bit that way. But it's not a game where we need to go into it. I don't mean this disrespectfully to them, but I don't want the players to go into it fearing it, thinking, oh God, we're going to Swindon, they're in League 2. You know, no way. We're going there to have a right go. And go and play and express yourself. I'll still say the same things as I say in every game that we've had. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, you know. But what I mean by that is have that bravery to play. I don't want us making mistakes in terms of defensively or being solid, you know. It has to come from a solid base, and if we can get that right, we know we can play some decent football, because that's what we've been doing. It's just that key area of the pitch where we have to be really dogged and hard to beat.
You've got a few selection problems, shall we say.
Yeah.
Joe Tate's obviously out with his straight red card, so he's going to miss the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Simon Heslop had his knee operation at the weekend.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dan Parslow at the weekend, but I think he missed last week, because he had an injury anyway, didn't he? Is he available, and what sort of options have you got?
Well, to be honest, in terms of defensively, we've got to assess people over the next 2 or 3 days. We could potentially be more or less down to the bare bones in terms of that. We've been trying for the last 2 or 3 days to try and bring players in, but the problem that we have, some of the ones that we're speaking to are not available for on Saturday anyway, you know, so it's not easy. But we had a big squad, and I've spoke to you previously in the past, and I've changed it around quite a bit. The only ones who probably had been Dan Parslow and Kempster, so they might come into the reckoning because they deserve.
So Dan Parslow is fit, he's available?
We're not sure yet. We've got to see how he is. He's done more today than what he'd done for probably about the last week. So we're hoping if we can get another couple of days of improvement in terms of that, because this was the most today that he's been pushed. So,
what's his problem been?
He's just got a little knee problem, you know. I can't remember what we're doing, but we trained and he just felt his knee a little bit. He trained the whole session, it was actually after where he just felt it a little bit. So we just have to make sure, and the thing is with Dan as well, if he's struggled and he's out injured for a week, not only that, he's not been playing in many of the games, you know, so to throw him straight back into a game like this, it's probably not fair on him either, you know, because he'll want to do himself justice, he's been waiting for a chance, so it still has to be the right thing for everyone. But the opportunity is there for everyone now. This is what we said on Monday when we come back in. There's no one here at this moment in time after what happened last week that can nail the mast down in terms of saying, I deserve to play. You know, the opportunity is there for everyone in terms of what we see Monday to Friday to say, I deserve to play on Saturday. And we've had two decent days where we've done a lot of work and we've done a lot of defensive work. So when it comes to Saturday, it's down to everyone to go out there and do the jobs.
Final couple of questions then about the FA Cup. First of all, how important is the FA Cup to you?
Yeah.
And how nice is it going to be for this team to actually go and play at a ground like Swindon's rather than an Ashton United's or a small ground where there's not many people there?
Yeah. Well, for myself personally, I used to love it when I played, you know, and I want to go somewhere with a team with a manager who I've got a lot of respect for, you know. He's been proven what he did in terms of Hull City, worked under Sam Allardyce, you know, been managed at some really good clubs, so I want to go there and, from my own selfish personal point of view, to go and win the game because I want to get the better of him, and not just because I want to win the game, but I want to get the better of him in terms of the way that I set my team up, you know, and that I'll take a lot from that if that's the situation that it ends up in the end. You know, there's the financial side of it for the club. I think it's worth quite a lot of money as well, and that might help at some stage in terms of strengthening the group. But then from a player's point of view, I want players that have got that mentality to go to Swindon and not fear that. Yeah, you know, we can go to Ashton's, you know, Eatons, we can go to Southports, wherever, Curzon, Ashton, wherever that is, and there's that fear factor's not there. Well, because it's still the same size pitch, you know, it still has the same lines all over the pitch. There might be a few more thousand fans there than what there normally be. You got to go and deal with it. If you can't deal with that, you're no good to me. At this level, you know, I want players that can do that can play in a hostile crowd a little bit, that might get on your back a little bit. If you can't deal with that, then I've got a problem, and I need to find people that can, because we want players that have got that mental toughness to go and deal with things like that. That's part of football. You know, we train every day, we do passing drills every day and possessions every day where there's no one stood there watching. When it really matters is when you cross that white line at 3 o'clock and at 7:45 on a Saturday or a Tuesday. That's when it matters, when you've got someone on your case, or you're playing against someone who's got loads of ability and you've got to stop him playing, or you're playing against a big centre half and it's Jordan Burrow and you need to make him be in a game, you know. Can you deal with it? If you can't deal with it, you're no good to me.
And I presume you were going down on Friday, staying overnight, which you don't get the chance to do much now in this division. What do you do Friday night? Do you get the team together and watch the FA Cup game that's going to be on the telly, a small side against a football league side, and say, look, this is what it means to these players, it's got to mean the same for you tomorrow? Yeah,
well, I was quite fortunate because, all of my career really, I had an opportunity where if we had long overnight stays, more often than not we went overnight, so I've kind of have a really good understanding in terms of the way that you'd plan it. We'd get down there, we were going to train here in the morning. We thought about training at Aston Villa because I know their manager really well, and we were going to train en route, but we thought the best thing to do was train earlier, get that out of the way, get down there as soon as we can to try and miss the traffic, let the players relax, have the evening meal, make sure they're sensible in terms of if they're at home on a Friday night, they're not having a 3-course meal, you know, but potentially we might be down there on a Friday night where there's a starter, a main course and a dessert. Well, why do that when you're staying in a hotel? Because you won't do that at home. So keeping that same routine, whatever it is that you used to doing at home. We'll have a meeting on the Friday night, which is something that me and Stuart normally do, but we would do it here on a Friday morning. And then same again, Saturday, get up, have your breakfast, don't go and think, well, I'm having my breakfast, I can have cereal, bloody full English, all that, you know. Whatever it is that you do at home, you do exactly the same, because it's nothing different. And then meeting, pre-match, don't eat too much, because that's the key thing. I used to hate that. I used to sit there watching players and they're having 3 and 4 courses because it's there in front of you. You'd never do that at home, so why are you doing it now? So I used to argue and fall out with them, so that's what I'll be like on Friday and Saturday. Just say, look, just be careful, be professional, that's the key thing.
Good luck.
Thank you.